You've been listening to the podcast, The New Author, Uncle MeShorn, I'm Not Your Black, from Louisville, Kentucky. This conversation, the family. You're my family.
Hello, folks. My name is Sonny Fishback from the Planet Music group. I was reading this book here, and I thought I would inform you and let you know, Brother MeShorn, that T. Daniels, and boy, did he give us some information that was much needed today. I thought I should share it. It was from his new book, and it's called I'm Not Your Black America. So I want to read to you on page 135 of his book. He starts off and says, it was 1977, and the miniseries Roots had just come out in time when racism was at its peak. It was a spark that came at exactly the right time to resonate with this audience. In an instant, the spark had ignited a fire. Roots and the subsequent craze for it swept through the nation's black communities like a wildfire. It was an impassioned, dangerous time. Our communities were high on reactionary theory, racial hyper-awareness, and vengeful wrath. We marched around secure in our self-justification. We were suddenly the chosen people, thinking of ourselves as the great oppressed. We were certainly trained. We were certain that any moral or social transgression we made was effectively nothing compared to what our ancestors had been through. And full of fragrant, cocksure self-righteousness, we lost any claim to true righteousness. We became exactly what the construct told us to be, proud to be black. It was a renaissance, racial tension. I remember clearly. We all professed our hatred for whites openly and often taken pride in our capacity to hate. My mother had always hated white people, owing to certain experiences in her past. My father hated them too. And caught up in this madness, so did I. We all did. Men and women, children of all ages, young men, all but spat on the sidewalk after mentioning the name white people. Even children in their schools looked down on any white kids they saw. I remember how insane those days were. My friends and I wandered around like archetypicums, itching for mischief, hateful of the very sight of white skin. And to my shame, I partook in this hatred to the extreme. I became one with the mob mentality that motivated the masses. It would take a long time before I realized my folly. Although we didn't realize it, but our hatred had reinforced the very stereo races had cast us in. We began to act like hateful ruffians and criminals. We had played into their hands. We had become their blacks. And why did this misconception affect our community the way it did? Roots was a miniseries based on a book called Roots, the saga of an American family. It followed the trail and tribulations faced by a Gambian man named who is sold into slavery in North America, a supposed ancestral of the author Alex Haley, emphasizing the cruelties of colonialism and racism. Haley had written a book and helped make a show that connected the descendants of slaves to their ancient pre-slavery past. In essence, Haley had created a myth of greatness in a parody of the biblical parable. Roots had made African America synonymous with the Garden of Eden, the fall of the black man. From greatness was something the biblical table with a racial theme shoehorned in, but alienated victims of racism fell for it. We embraced the twisted parable with arms wide open. We were convinced of our past greatness, convinced that we had been torn out of some heavenly land by this old white devil. You hear that? Yeah. Okay, let me make a comment here. I'm Sonny Fishback, but my book is called Plant a New Seed. I'm so thrilled that somebody had the nerve and care finally to unravel to the world what we really are, and not just an average black object that looks like a human being but is really not. That's the way we are sometimes depicted. And I would add, I'm not your nothing. I don't belong to you. Period, sir. Whatever color they have decided and besmirched for me to feel like I'm inferior. No, I don't belong to you, period. Or one of a handful that was seated among an army of majorities. And let's just say a bill or decision came up to either build another jail to warehouse and store this problem bunch of minorities out of the way, or build a school and training center to educate this bunch of so-called troublemakers. These majorities may have been or just probably waiting for some other suggestion from the minority side. And it is our responsibility to present another option. Oh, sure, the white folks' parents years ago it did create the condition, but not the people that are alive today. They created a position that's conditioned. It was their fault. But today, it's our responsibility. Those people have been dead for over 200 years. We're never going to have to look at the whole picture, yo. Truthfully, there may not even be one sitting there to just purposely block or oppose your black brother. It is just the general, normal consensus that has been tolerated by the masses, especially by you, black brothers. Did you really object spiritually to them building another jail for your brother? We don't seem to. Make sure, and that's what we're going to have to do, make sure there's enough of us there sitting there to make it two objects. I really want you to get Brother MeShorn T. Daniels' book, I Am Not Your Black, and read that first, and then you could go into the Plant a New Seed and take a look at mine. My name is Sonny Fishback from the Plant a New Seed organization. Thank you. Plant a New Seed. Thank you for listening, okay? Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the podcast, The New Author, Uncle MeShorn, I'm Not Your Black, from Louisville, Kentucky. This conversation, the family. You're my family.